Ranganathan, so many rights of the honorable justices, which is why we are calling this Operation Order Order. Operation Order is only for you and me and the common citizen of India. For them, there are only rights. What happens to the duty of transparency? What happens to the duty of probity? What happens to the duty of putting the truth before the country and, being above suspicion just like Caesar's wife? Isn't that expected? Because Justice Yashwant Verma will not resign. And he says this is again a conspiracy against him. Even after the three-judge committee, in his response to the Chief Justice of India, he says, that the fairness of the process of justice have not been adhered to. He talks about the conspiracy theory, even after the fact that it has been declared and proven, and there is a list of 55 witnesses who have been questioned by the said committee. And all of these 55 members have corroborated, after which these conclusions have been taken by the committee. 55 of them are wrong. The justice is right. No answers to be given. How the cash reached there, how much was it, where did it go, why did it go, why was the CCTV not working at that time, and why did he mislead everybody by saying that everybody accessed that room? The judges, the committee of judges finds that it was only the residents who held the right to allow somebody to enter. Nothing, no punitive action against him.
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I reiterate that I speak as a common man, common citizen, as a layman, because I see everyone else on the panel as exalted lawyers, so kudos to them. First of all, the good news for you, Navika, is that while you might be hauled up for contempt of court for this brilliant investigation and opening of this case yet again with facts, the good news is that Supreme Court is almost on what was erstwhile called summer break, but now it is called partially working. So 10% of the summer break has been cancelled. But I want to talk about something else, which is a fact that justice is supposed to be blind, not judges. Do they not see a clear conflict of interest here, Navika? Imagine an IPL final, whether Mumbai Indians captain Hardik Pandya is LBW or not goes to the third umpire. And the third umpire turns out to be Mukesh Ambani, the owner of Mumbai Indians. Bags of cash is found in a judge's home, and what steps are taken? An in-house probe, a nudge and a rap on the knuckles with a feather, a one-way ticket to another city court, no FIR, no investigation of a clear criminal act by forensic and investigative agencies. The judicial system is broke, Navika. Let me explain. More than 50 million cases are pending in Indian courts. At the current pace, it would take us 323 years to clear the backlog. Worse, out of these 180,000 are as old as 30 years. As many as 244,000 pending cases are of rape and child sex offences. India has just 20 judges per million population, worse than sub-Saharan Africa. 1,680 complaints of corruption against judges have been filed in the last 5 years. Only 10% of judges have publicly declared their assets. 38% of High Court and 21% of judicial positions overall lie vacant. 76% of all prisoners are under trials. The wheels of justice aren't just grinding slowly, Navika. They have come to a halt. As I said, the entire judicial system is broke, and one of the primary reasons is judicial appointments. This system where judges appoint judges needs a serious overhaul. Around 50% of High Court judges and 33% of Supreme Court judges are related to senior judicial members. Only 250 families have ever sent judges to Supreme Court. Conflict of interest is rife. At one point of time, 34 judges of the High Court had relatives working as lawyers in the same place. CJI Khare admitted corruption was rampant in lower courts. 9 Supreme Court judges said there was corruption in higher judiciary, a fact disclosed in the Supreme Court itself. And yet, no one but the judiciary, through the Article 235 as well as the 1997 declaration, can investigate judicial corruption. This has to change, and somebody has to change it. My question is, we know Supreme Court is not going to change this. Who is above the Supreme Court? Parliament. What is it doing? Sleeping?
like the Supreme Court.
I'm sorry, the parliament is not above the Supreme Court. The parliament is below. The kind of constitutional protection the Supreme Court judges get or the judges in general get is not available to members of the legislature. So certainly the parliament is not above the judges. The judges can turn down any law that has been passed by the parliament. So Sanjay Ghosh, what are we waiting for? Are we going to wait for public memory to fade away, for the outrage that is currently being felt by common citizens to just wash away, because there will be a process, that there will be, as Sanjay Hegde just explained, some sort of an inquiry in the monsoon session, the argument in the winter session, the argument and the debate going on forever and ever? Are we just waiting for public memory to fade away, outrage to fade away, so that we can brush this one also under the carpet? And I'm sure you've heard about the Punjab and Haryana High Court as well. A case in which an order is reserved is now being heard by the Chief Justice of the Punjab and Haryana High Court. So what's just going on? And I've been told that I'll be hauled up for contempt. Why? Putting truth out is being hauled up for contempt?
Well, Navika, I must first compliment you for doing this program. And we have to bring this to the public day in and day out until action is taken. And hats off to you for doing this. But I say this with a sense of pain that, we have to listen to this report from you rather than the Supreme Court putting it out in its website like it put out the initial show cause notice and the reply. Okay, transparency, if we are for transparency, then there had to be a transparent thing. I don't believe that I'm saying this, but I today agree with almost 90% of what Mr. Salve said. This is an issue where there was no need. Please understand, and this, your viewers should understand this. Two Chief Justices of a High Court who have such an important task and administrative responsibilities, and one senior judge of the Karnataka High Court sat in Delhi in the Haryana Bhavan for 14 days to do this inquiry. What was the need of this inquiry, when it was very clear as to what has happened? Now, I want to just put in a contrary view over here with regard to FIR. There's this talk, why not FIR, why not FIR? Let us take Justice Yashwant Verma's own defense. His defense is that he was set up by some unknown people. So my question is this: yes, it is true that under the Constitution and the laws and the judgments, you need some kind of Supreme Court nod to investigate a judge. But you don't need any Supreme Court nod to investigate a crime which the judge is himself alleging to be a crime. So what my question is to you, and through you to the people who matter, that when the first responders came there and they found cash, they found the burning, when the whole public heard the judge saying she's being framed with money, from whichever source, why did not the police register an FIR against unknown people and investigate that angle? And another issue, you are privy to the report, we are not. I am very interested, as a person who wants the purity of the judiciary and the legal system to be preserved, to know that where did this cash come from? A judge with a salary of 2.5 lakhs can't manage to have the crores as is alleged against Justice Verma. Did the investigation also find who are those people who are bringing that money to the judges, who are corrupting the judicial system? And those people have no constitutional protection, which Sanjay Hegde is talking about. Why don't you attack them? Why is nothing being done to attack and target those?
With all due respect, Sanjay Ghosh, I agree with you that if there is a conspiracy and somebody is keeping that money in somebody's house, we should go against that people. But who is to find that out? According to a Supreme Court judgment itself, an FIR can only be filed after the Chief Justice of India or the Supreme Court gives its nod for the filing of the FIR. So that should have come from the Chief Justice of India at that time. It hasn't come. In fact, after the report came out and he wrote this letter, even in that there is no suggestion of registering an FIR. So who is supposed to do that?